I am the daughter of a notorious crime boss in Harbor City, and my identity was supposed to be revealed at the wedding. But my brother said I was being targeted and couldn't risk exposure. My fiancé promptly took off my wedding dress to dress the maid, while my bodyguard stole my family heirloom. I trusted them completely, only to see the maid embracing my fiancé with one hand and caressing my brother, and the bodyguard with the other, as the ceremony began. When I questioned them, the maid smirked viciously and ordered my limbs to be broken. They locked me underground, where I met a gruesome end in the belly of a beast. You can have my fiancé, but my family heirloom is not yours to take. Marina screamed in pain as I struck her repeatedly, her fiancé glaring with fury before slapping me across the face. Anna, how dare you lay a hand on Marina? My brother's eyes reddened with distress as he raised his fist and charged at me. You dare strike the heir of the Green Gang at her own wedding? Family discipline now. My personal bodyguard immediately engaged me in combat, but within 2 moves, I kicked him flying. He spat out blood, his eyes wide with shock. Anna, you dare hit me with such force? I dusted off my clothes and pulled a chair to sit center stage. Do you all still remember my name is Anna? Then have you forgotten that I, Anna, am Jiang Qing's only daughter, the sole heir of the Green Gang? And more importantly, the bride of this wedding. My words sent the audience into an uproar. What's going on? If she's the bride, then who is the one earlier? All eyes turned to Marina, who was vomiting blood incessantly, while I sneered coldly. In my past life, I pitted Marina for her tragic background and, persuaded by my brother, allowed her to stay as my nanny. Before long, Marina had bewitched my own brother, my personal bodyguard, and my fiancé with nothing but her pretty face. After my mother was severely injured, I was supposed to reveal my identity at the wedding and take full control of the Green Gang. Yet, all 3 of them convinced me that the Green Gang had too many enemies and that I might face the same danger as my mother. They insisted I hide my identity and let Marina, renamed Jiang Marina, take my place in the marriage to prevent assassination attempts. After I agreed, the 3 of them became entangled on the wedding night, and I caught them red-handed. With their disgrace exposed, they simply threw me into an underground octagon cage, forcing me to serve as Marina's punching bag, enduring humiliation day and night. Remembering the agony of being devoured alive by wild beasts, I didn't hesitate to stomp down hard, breaking Marina's ribs. Tell me, who are you and who am I? Marina wailed in pain, desperately screaming for her fiancé, David. Husband, throw this lunatic out now. Brother, save me. David was terrified by my murderous aura, yet in response to Marina's plea, he resolutely spread his arms to block my path. Anna, so, what if your surname is Jiang? I can prove Marina is the rightful next leader of the Green Gang. My brother, torn between heartache and anger, knelt to help Marina up while coldly scolding me. Stop this nonsense. Everything we do is for your own good. Apologize to Marina on your knees now, then go back and face the family punishment. Even my personal bodyguard, Victor, stood up, pulling out a baton from his coat and pointing it at me. No need to go back. Kneel right here. How dare a mere servant disrupt the young mistress's wedding? I'll personally administer the family punishment. I looked at the 3 men closest to me, fists clenched so tight my veins bulged. Since you all side with this maid, don't blame me for what comes next. With that, I lifted Marina with both hands and hurled her straight off the stage. Apologies for the spectacle, everyone. The arranged marriage is over. This wedding banquet will now become my succession ceremony. The attending guests were all stunned. We've long heard about the internal strife within the Green Gang, but the successor is Jiang Qing's only daughter. That's indisputable, right? Exactly. Everyone knows Jiang Qing's only daughter is Marina. The wedding invitation clearly states Jiang Marina. Who the hell do you think you are, Anna? Daring to cause trouble at the wedding and injure Miss Jiang, this Anna is as good as dead. The 3 fiancés exchanged uneasy glances, listening to the crowd's murmurs before finally relaxing. Anna, what's gotten into you today? Get the hell down from there. I'm David, Marina's husband. I can confirm that Marina is the bride of this wedding and the rightful successor of the Green Gang. And I'm Jiang Mo, the eldest brother of the Jiang family. I watched Marina grow up. How could I be mistaken? I'm Victor, Marina's personal bodyguard. Marina is the true successor of the Green Gang. As for Anna, never heard of her. The three of them stood shoulder to shoulder, fiercely shielding Marina while glaring daggers at me. The crowd below burst into laughter. This Anna must be out of her mind. Sure, the Jiang family has plenty of handsome men, but none she can ever hope to claim. Over the years, news about the Jiang family successor has been tightly guarded, but we all know the eldest daughter is Jiang Mo, the son-in-law is David, and the successor's personal bodyguard is Victor. They wouldn't be wrong. That's right, Anna. Why don't you kneel and apologize? I raised my head, looking past the person in front of me, straight at the man who had hurried over. Uncle Zhang, you've been with my mother for so many years. Surely you recognize her daughter? The crowd followed my gaze, murmuring once more. Isn't that Zhang Lin, Jiang Qing's lover? Why is he here? With such a scandal at the wedding and Jiang Qing on her deathbed, someone had to come and take charge. Zhang Lin didn't say a word, rushing over in his hard leather shoes. He first helped Marina up before turning to me. You wretched creature, who gave a lowly servant like you the audacity to challenge Marina. Someone tie Anna up. I'm taking her back to be dealt with by the boss himself. My heart skipped a beat. In my past life, I only knew that my fiancé and the others had been bewitched by Marina, but I never imagined even Uncle Zhang, my mother's confidant, had become her ally. At Zhang Lin's command, people immediately moved to seize me. I stood my ground, using only the Jiang family's martial arts to defeat everyone who surrounded me. As his injured men lay groaning on the ground, someone finally realized something was amiss. Anna is using the Jiang family's secret techniques, passed down only to the heirs since ancient times. If she were truly just an insignificant servant, how could she possibly know them? I watched the men coldly, waiting for their lies to unravel. But then, to my surprise, the severely injured Marina was helped back onto the stage by them. Gritting her teeth, she performed an entire set of the Jiang family's martial arts. Seizing the silence of the onlookers, Marina wiped the blood from her lips and declared loudly, Anna, in the past, I pitied your background and let you fetch water during training. And this is how you repay me, by stealing our techniques. I glared at my brother Jiang Mo with hatred in my eyes. This boxing technique was known only to our mother Jiang Qing, him and me. How dare he personally teach our family's secret technique to an outsider? This was absolutely outrageous. Furious, my blood boiling, I grabbed Jiang Mo by the collar. How could you? Jiang Mo remained unshaken, instead turning his gaze to Marina. Marina took the opportunity to pull something from her bosom and held it high. Mother has long since passed the Qing Gang's token to me. Anna, your farce ends here. The sight of the ancient token in her hand sent shockwaves through the crowd. It seems Jiang Qing's health has indeed taken a turn for the worse, if she's even handed the Qing Gang token to Marina. Anna, with both witnesses and evidence against you, a mere servant like you should scram. My teeth ground together with a sickening crunch, the taste of blood filling my mouth. In my past life, I hadn't lifted a finger to stop them, completely unaware that they had already hollowed out the Jiang family behind my and mother's backs. Overwhelmed by immense hatred, I lunged forward to snatch the token from Marina's grasp. Victor had now completely turned against me. With a single command, countless loyalists blocked my path and immediately attacked. Though my martial arts were refined, I was still flesh and blood, no match for their numbers. Before long, I was ambushed, struck hard on the back of my head with a blunt weapon. The blow nearly split my skull, my vision flickering in and out as I swayed unsteadily. Victor sneered, delivering a powerful kick to my chest that sent me tumbling from the platform to the ground below. Marina, momentarily triumphant, stepped forward and raised her foot high, poised to stomp on my face. Rage surged within me, and I punched the sole of her foot. Marina, all show and no substance, was knocked flat on her back. Zhonglin, my mother's lover, was so furious his nostrils flared. "You little beast! How dare you hurt someone? Break her hand!" Victor immediately pulled out a switchblade, ordering his men to pin down my injured right hand before driving the knife deep into it. "Anna, today I won't just cripple your hand. I'll sever the tendons in your arms and legs, then throw you into the underground fighting pits. You'll be a complete cripple, forever beneath Marina's heel." The pain spread, making some onlookers turn away in discomfort. I spat a mouthful of bloody foam into the faces of the men around me, screaming hoarsely, "If you have the guts, just kill me. Otherwise, when Mother arrives, you're all dead." For a fleeting moment, panic flashed across my brother Jiangmo's face before he turned to Zhonglin. Zhonglin snorted coldly, his expression full of disdain as he leaned in to whisper in my ear, "Let me tell you the truth. Your mother isn't waking up. Anna, stop dreaming of some hero swooping in to prove your identity. The entire Green Gang, including your man, will belong to Marina from now on." A malicious smile curled at the corners of his lips, and my heart plummeted. No wonder no one from my family came to save me when I was locked in the octagonal cage in my past life. So they had secretly conspired long ago to murder my mother. The men took in the panic on my face and burst into raucous laughter. Seizing the moment, I knocked over the person pinning me down, sank my teeth into Zhonglin's ear, and with a fierce jerk of my head, tore off a chunk of his flesh. Zhonglin shrieked in pain, while Marina's face twisted with distress. My brother, Zhang Mo, was so enraged he began hurling curses, and not satisfied with mere words, he grabbed a wine bottle and smashed it against my head. "Do you have any idea what you've done? How dare you hurt him?" My head rang from the blow, but suddenly I noticed something odd. Zhang Mo had always despised Zhonglin, calling him vulgar in appearance and despicable in character, a shady figure who stole the place of our long-deceased father. So why was he now so protective of Zhonglin, his supposed lover? My fiancé, David, also wore a look of concern, bustling around to tend to Zhonglin's wound. Meanwhile, Victor flashed a cold glint as a switchblade pressed against my throat. "Anna, I'm sorry. I didn't want to take your life. But you've repeatedly harmed those I hold dear. I can't let you live." Covered in wounds, with my limbs rendered useless, I was no match for Victor now. In the stands, some covered their eyes, bracing for the sight of my blood spilling. Just then, a furious roar erupted from the entrance of the venue. What kind of chaos is this at Anna's wedding? Everyone, stop this at once. Recognizing the newcomer, my nose stung with emotion. It was Jiang Ning, an elder who had served by my mother's side, and the martial arts master who had trained me, the second branch of the Jiang family. "Aunt Ning." At my call, Jiang Ning strode toward me. Taking in my injuries, she exploded in fury. "You wretched fools! Who dared to harm Anna like this?" All eyes turned to Victor, who swallowed hard before stepping forward to grasp Jiang Ning's hand. "Aunt Ning, there's been a misunderstanding. Don't jump to conclusions. Let us explain everything to you later." Jiang Ning flung him away with a sharp motion. "So it was you? You grew up with Anna. She treated you like family. How could you lay a hand on her? You fool. This time, not even Anna's pleas will save you." The row of men paled visibly. My fiancé, David, was especially nervous, his voice softening into a plea. "Aunt Ning, please calm down. Anna. She had a sudden fit of madness and injured Uncle Zhang. We had no choice but to restrain her." At the mention of Uncle Zhang, Jiang Ning's brow twitched sharply, her gaze shifting to the bloodied, wailing figure of Zhonglin. Zhonglin glared at her with hatred. "Can't you see I'm injured? Why are you just standing there? This little beast tried to kill me." I was somewhat taken aback. Aunt Ning had always been honest and upright, devoted to martial arts, and had never had a man by her side. Why was Zhang Lin speaking to her in such an intimate tone? I immediately spoke up. Aunt Ning, that's not what happened. These men conspired together to put that useless Marina in power. Aunt Ning, you must testify for me. Jiang Ning's face darkened, as if she hadn't heard me at all, her eyes instead filled with concern as she stared at Zhang Lin. Enough, this is what I owe you. Anna, you've gone too far, daring to cause trouble at Marina's wedding and attempting to confuse the Jiang family's bloodline. You cannot escape punishment. Take her away. At Jiang Ning's words, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. I was stunned. If others sided with Marina and helped her seize power, I could understand. But why would my own aunt, Jiang Ning, do this too? She's my flesh and blood. Earlier, when my tendons were severed, I didn't even blink, but now my eyes were red. Aunt Ning, wake up. My mother is just sick, not dead. Aren't you afraid she'll find out how you're treating me? Jiang Ning's face remained cold, refusing to look at me. Let it be. With those light words, she sentenced me to death. Immediately, someone stepped forward to grab me and began dragging me out. Marina, who had been half beaten to death by me earlier, now suddenly in power, naturally put on a show. Wait. This bitch hurt me and my people. There must be some reckoning. I can handle things here. Aunt Ning, take Uncle Zhang to get treated first. Jiang Ning gave me a worried glance, but only for a moment before Zhang Lin's cries drew her attention back. Zhang Lin muttered a few dissatisfied words, and Jiang Ning truly abandoned me, publicly leaving with Zhang Lin. My heart was full of questions I couldn't voice, and I was about to beg Jiang Ning again, but Marina didn't give me the chance. She kicked me square in the back, then pounced, using both hands and feet to deliver fatal blows in front of everyone. My fiancé David looked concerned. Marina, be careful not to hurt your hands. My brother Jiang Mo stepped forward to pull her away. There's always time for revenge later. You're still injured. Where would you get the strength? Come on, let's finish the ceremony first. There'll be plenty of chances to deal with her. I never imagined my closest kin could say such heartless words. Even with the experiences of my past life, my heart ached bitterly. Marina, who had nearly been beaten to death by me and lost face, how could she not strike back in public now? She roughly shook off the two men holding her and took the switchblade from Victor's hands. Victor understands me best. Victor grinned broadly, not giving a second thought to the fact that this knife was one I had forged for him with my own hands when we were children. Now, he handed it to my greatest enemy, Marina, utterly indifferent to my life hanging by a thread. Marina toyed with the dagger, then grabbed a fistful of my hair. Let's start with the hair. Afraid I might fight back, Victor immediately seized my arms from behind, forcing my head down. Marina sneered as she dragged the blade across my scalp. Oops, my hand slipped. With that, she traced the tip of the knife from the back of my head, leaving a bloody gash. I gritted my teeth, not uttering a sound, not even flinching. Marina, recalling how cowardly she had been when I beat her earlier, grew even more displeased. A defeated wretch, pretending to be tough. Even if you're not afraid of pain, you can't win a man's heart. The three men burst into laughter, watching as Marina plunged the entire blade straight into my thigh. The switchblade was made of the finest steel I could find, razor sharp, and in an instant, it severed my femoral artery, blood gushing out. Some guests couldn't bear it and urged them to proceed with the ceremony. Marina, brimming with malice, couldn't care less. Stay if you want, leave if you don't. From now on, I'm the head of the Green Gang, and my rules are the rules. With that, she yanked the knife out and raised it to stab my left leg. Just then, a stone flew from afar, clanging as it knocked the switchblade from her hand, followed by another that struck Marina squarely in the eye. Clutching her eye in pain, Marina rolled on the ground twice. David rushed to help her. Victor immediately went on alert, and my own brother Jiang Mo cursed furiously. Who dared lay hands on our Green Gang leader? Show yourself. At the entrance, someone slowly emerged, pushing a wheelchair. Jiang Mo, who exactly are you calling leader? Just hearing the voice made Jiang Mo shiver on the spot. David and Victor panicked even more, both stepping in front of Marina. Covered in blood, I mustered the last of my strength to stand up, and when I saw who it was, tears finally fell. Mom, you're okay? Mom waved slightly, signaling me not to panic. Immediately, someone rushed forward with a medical kit to stop my bleeding. The moment Marina saw my mother, she trembled like a leaf, her dagger clattering to the ground. Someone promptly picked it up and handed it to Mom. The mother traced the patterns on the dagger with her fingers, her eyes fixed intently on Victor. Do you remember what you said the day you received this dagger? Victor's knees buckled, and he fell to the ground. I said I would be loyal to the young mistress for life. The mother nodded, then turned her gaze to the trembling David. Do you remember what you said the day I agreed to let Anna marry you? David was so frightened that tears streamed down his face. I said I would always take care of the young mistress. Finally, the mother's eyes settled on her brother, Jiang Mo. Jiang Mo shrank back slightly, but still stood firmly in front of Marina. Mom, the situation here is a bit complicated. Can I explain it to you when we get back? As he stepped forward, he was immediately blocked by the guards in front of his mother. Today is the coronation ceremony of Lady Anna Jiang. We won't tolerate any disrespect. The moment those words left my mouth, they practically confirmed my identity. Marina's face turned deathly pale as she swayed unsteadily, and seeing this, Jiang Mo grew frantic. Mom, can you please stop making a scene? I'm begging you, don't embarrass Marina. If you're really that worried, why don't you take Anna to the hospital first? I'll handle things here. One of Mom's personal guards slapped Jiang Mo so hard he was sent sprawling to the ground. Who gave you the right to speak here? Blood trickled from the corner of Jiang Mo's mouth as he finally grasped the gravity of the situation and began to feel genuine fear. Mom, maybe we should postpone the ceremony and pick another day too. His words were cut off before he could finish. Today, the Green Gang expels the rebellious son Jiang Mo from the family. Let the ceremony continue. No one dared to speak another word after that. A crowd watched with mouths agape as Mother placed the Green Gang token into my hand. It was my negligence and discipline that made a spectacle for all to see. But in my life, Jiang Qing has only one daughter, and the Green Gang will have only Anna as its leader in the future. The remaining matters are not for outsiders to know. Please, everyone, take your leave. The onlookers had their fill of drama and were thrilled, but they knew better than to overstay their welcome and left promptly. In an instant, the banquet hall was left with only the Jiang family members. Having lost too much blood, I was shivering uncontrollably. Seeing my dire condition, Mother instructed the servants to take Marina and the others away and instead took me to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, I recounted everything that had happened in detail, including the strange behavior of Zhang Lin and Jiang Ning. Mother frowned deeply and immediately sent people to investigate. After handling all this, we finally breathed a sigh of relief, locking eyes as Mom let out a long sigh. If you hadn't noticed in time that my medicine had been swapped, I might never have woken up again. I nodded with tears in my eyes. That's right. From the moment I was reborn, I sensed something was off. Mom had always been in good health. Being stabbed once shouldn't have kept her bedridden for so long. I visited her repeatedly, even staying by her side constantly, yet I could never rouse her. After being reborn, I immediately set my suspicions on these men, Zhang Lin included. After all, he was the one who spent the most time with Mom in the hospital. I messaged Mom's personal bodyguards, instructing them to stop her drip as soon as Zhang Lin left. Sure enough, she woke up not long after. It was Zhang Lin. He had been adding sedatives to Mom's life-sustaining medication. This wedding was their joint scheme to annihilate my Jiang family line and seize control of the Green Gang. Before long, all the information on Jiang Ning and Zhang Lin was transmitted over. Aunt Ning indeed never married in her life. But she had a long-lost love from her youth whom she had to part with due to martial arts training, and that person was none other than Zhonglin. And Zhonglin turned out to be Marina's biological brother. Stunned by this bombshell news, my face was filled with astonishment. But upon closer calculation, Mom is nearly 50 this year. Jiangning is a full 10 years younger than Mom. Zhonglin is 5 years younger than Jiangning, and Marina is another 5 years younger than Zhonglin. After all this back and forth, the ages do indeed add up. Although Zhonglin was Mom's lover, he was Marina's biological brother. Since Marina had the chance to rise in status, he would naturally protect her. Jiangning had wronged Zhonglin in their youth and carried guilt in her heart. Now that Zhonglin had become Mom's lover, this matter must have long become her inner demon. No wonder Aunt Ning, who had always doted on me, was so cold at the time. But all of this makes sense. Where did Marina, a mere nanny, get the audacity to oppose me like this? And what about my mother's assassination back then? Was it truly an accident, or was it orchestrated? I remained silent, feeling only that the deeper I dug into this matter, the more sinister it became. Gradually, the pain from my wound began gnawing at my nerves, and I finally couldn't hold on any longer. My vision darkened as I passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I had already been taken to the hospital. Seeing I was awake, the doctor stormed in with a clatter. Who would have thought our young miss would go to such lengths for a bit of fame and fortune? Did you know Marina's been locked up by them? I quietly studied the man before me. Back when I practiced martial arts and often got injured, I'd always come to this private hospital for him to patch me up. I truly never expected that even the doctor by my side would be hopelessly in love with Marina. When I remained silent, the doctor muttered a few more words, advising me not to be too difficult. Slowly rising to my feet, I punched him in the face. Get out, and don't come back until you know who your master is. Hearing the commotion in the room, Mother quickly arrived with her guards. The doctor wailed and was dragged out like trash. I had intended to tell Mother about the suspicious aspects of the matter, but before I could speak, the hospital room door was kicked open. Leading the charge were Zhonglin and Jiangning. Recognizing the intruders, Mother's breath caught in her throat. Jiangning, you're my sister. Jiangning's face showed a trace of guilt, but she still stepped closer. Sorry, elder sister. I've only made one mistake in my life, and now that I've met Zhonglin again, I can't not help him. Mom had stood tall and unyielding her whole life, never imagining she'd cross swords with her own flesh and blood. Her figure trembled slightly. For a woman, is it worth it? Before Jiangning could speak, Zhonglin stepped forward with a cold laugh. Jiangqing, do you think I came to your side for nothing? Of course it was for my sister, to avenge Marina. His words came out of nowhere, and neither Mom nor I could make sense of them. Seeing the confusion on our faces, Zhonglin grew even angrier. You don't remember? How dare you not remember? Marina was Anna's study companion back then, but that bitch Anna broke her limbs. How could you forget? The lives of us insignificant people don't count as lives, do they? At this point, a shadow of a memory flickered in my mind. In my early years, when I was a child, there was a study companion with sticky fingers who, after school, would always sweet-talk me into going to nightclubs and even found men for me, saying it was to broaden my horizons. Back then, I was just a teenager and had no idea what initiation meant. After casually refusing, she took me back to the gambling table. The Green Gang prohibited gambling, so my mother soon arrived with her people. After reviewing the surveillance footage and learning everything that had happened, she didn't hesitate to break that person's limbs and throw them out. I never expected that she was actually Marina. No wonder Marina harbored such hatred toward me, willing to take enormous risks just to ruin me and take everything I had. It turns out all of this was because of that incident. However, becoming my study companion required strict vetting, with all prohibited actions and corresponding punishments clearly stated in the contract. Besides that, my mother also gave Marina, who had been expelled, a substantial compensation. I don't think we were in the wrong. But now that the feud has been set, Arguing over right and wrong is already a joke. Jiangning raised her hand, and immediately her people emerged from the shadows. Elder sister, after all, you are my own flesh and blood. I don't want this to get too ugly. Just personally break this girl's limbs to appease Marina, then hand over the Green Gang and appoint a new leader. Then this matter will be settled. As she finished speaking, Marina stepped out from behind the crowd, eyeing me brazenly. Anna, what good is your noble birth? You've still grown into a useless waste who can't even keep a man. Your fiancé and bodyguard both were quite enjoyable. No one could endure such humiliation. Just as I was about to strike, Jiangning stopped me. Anna, all these years, the Green Gang's martial experts have been training under me. You can't win today. Listening to Jiangning's threatening tone, I looked at her as if she were a stranger. Aunt Ning, since it's come to this, I'll give you one last chance too. Family or Zhonglin, who will you choose? The moment my words fell, Zhonglin burst into unrestrained laughter. Don't be naive. This question was already answered at the wedding. Did you think all these years by Jiangqing's side were for nothing? I know everything. How the Green Gang operates, where all your forces are spread. Keeping you around serves no purpose. Since you refuse to negotiate, then go in peace. Attack. Immediately, countless Green Gang members charged toward me and my mother. Reacting swiftly, I slammed the door shut and locked it. Marina, convinced of her victory, stood outside the door hurling insults. But soon, her voice was silenced. From the moment we uncovered Zhonglin's ties to Jiangning, my mother and I mobilized all our forces, hiding them throughout the hospital. Now that the mask was off, Zhonglin would never stand by and let his sister be cornered. They would surely ally with Jiangning to seize power. And just as we predicted, we were right. Jiangning's cold indifference to my torment proved how little I meant to her. Loyalty was out of the question. Once I took power, no matter what Zhonglin and Marina did, she would remain a thorn in our side. Their plan was to eliminate us in the chaos. Ours was to turn their scheme against them and uproot this thorn with full justification. Before long, the shouts outside the door faded. I reached out and opened it, only to find Jiangning and the other two pinned to the ground, covered in blood. Marina looked at me as if she could barely restrain herself from leaping up to kill me. You shameless, despicable wretch. How dare you scheme against me? I smiled indifferently. You've spent years plotting against me. I'm merely returning the favor. Mother sighed and waved her hand, signaling for these people to be taken away immediately. Just then, Zhang Mo came running over, crying and shouting. Mother, no. Marina is carrying my child. Please, for the sake of the child, spare her life. Besides him, David and Victor also rushed over. We beg you, Marina didn't mean it. We're willing to take the punishment in her place. Just spare her life. Mother gave me a look, indicating that the decision was mine to make. I stepped forward and kicked Victor against the wall. If I hadn't taken you in back then, you'd still be begging on the streets. Victor, all these years, you were the only one I trusted with my back, and you stabbed me in it. With that, I drew my knife and personally severed his tendons. Throw him into the beggar's den. Seeing how ruthless and decisive I was, my fiancé David began to regret his actions. No, I don't want to go to the beggar's den. Anna, you wouldn't hurt me, would you? I slapped him twice, leaving him dazed. Victor, from the moment I agreed to this marriage, I devoted myself wholeheartedly to you. Anything you desired, I made sure it was in your hands the very next day. You were the least favored bastard in your family. If I hadn't chosen you, you'd have been cast out onto the streets long ago. And how did you repay me? Speak. David was so terrified he broke down in tears, but I showed no mercy and sent him off to join his dear friend Victor. Finally, I turned my gaze to my brother, Zhang Mo. Trembling in fear, he still mustered the courage to look at Mother. Mom, I just made a mistake. You can't let Anna decide my fate. I'm your only son. I smirked coldly and revealed a truth he had never known. Jong Imo, you're not Mother's biological son. His eyes widened in shock, his tears forgotten. That's impossible. You're lying. I threw the evidence right in his face. Back then, Mother couldn't have children, so she adopted you from an orphanage to bring some life into the house. She kept it from you all these years because she didn't want you to feel hurt. But you betrayed your own family for an outsider. Jong Imo, I have nothing more to say to you. You'll join them. Jong Imo picked up the report, and his face turned deathly pale as he read it. As he was dragged away, his lips trembled, not with pleas for mercy, but with a single whispered apology. But I would never forgive someone who so recklessly harmed me. With them dealt with, I turned to Marina. Having witnessed my mercilessness, she was so terrified she wet herself. I sneered, pulling out the switchblade she had used to stab me. Marina scrambled backward in fear, and as I advanced, she shoved Zhang Lin toward me in desperation. Zhang Lin was caught off guard, his foot slipped, and his head slammed heavily against the sharp corner of the hallway, splitting open a large gash. Blood gushed out incessantly. Jiang Ning, witnessing this scene, felt her heart shatter. She crouched down, trying to cover Zhang Lin's wound. But Zhang Lin's injury was too severe. He had already stopped breathing. Marina had killed her own brother with her own hands, stammering for a long time before managing to utter a sentence. I didn't mean to. He was just unlucky. The next second, Zhang Ning snatched the knife from my hand with lightning speed and plunged it straight into Marina's chest. Your brother schemed all of this for you. If not for you, why would he go to such lengths? You, cowardly and afraid of death, got your own brother killed, and you dare say he was just unlucky. Zhang Ning roared while repeatedly slashing Marina's body with the switchblade. Marina only had time to let out one scream before she abruptly met her end, following her brother to the grave. With the final slash, Zhang Ning tore open Marina's mouth, her face covered in blood as she turned to me with reddened eyes. Anna, this matter is Ning Auntie's fault. But Ning Auntie had no other choice. This life, I offer it to you as atonement. Before I could step forward to stop her, she plunged the entire blade into her own chest. As Zhang Ning's lifeless body collapsed to the ground, only my mother and I remained in the room. My mother sighed, murmuring about a tragic fate, and waved for me to go rest. Instead of closing my eyes right away, I followed the clues and thoroughly dealt with all the insiders who had secretly released Marina. I then conducted a complete sweep of the Green Gang, ensuring everything was secure before finally feeling at ease. Not long after, news came from the beggar's den that the three men sent there were too delicate and couldn't endure. They had all committed suicide. After listening to my subordinate's report, I didn't even bat an eyelid. Understood. You may go. By now, I had fully taken over the Green Gang, becoming the foremost among the new generation. The betrayals of the past, I will neither forgive nor dwell on them. After all, I still have a future ahead of me, while they have nothing left. The end.